thought it had to be a mistake. Somebody asked me about it, and I said, no, surely to God she would not have even Angel Reese surely realizes not to repost something like that, right? Hell, I guess I was wrong. I guess
It happened in less than 15 seconds. A TikTok video that would ignite a firestorm, divide fan bases, and send shockwaves through the WNBA community. Angel Reese, the rising superstar and unapologetic voice of a new generation, posted a short video late Friday night. It seemed playful, even harmless to some. A sync to a trending audio with
void that's definitely filled in the offseason.
On Jualavera couldn't hit there. Vanderson had that beautiful pass down low. Another missed three, same spot from Jualavera. Find the fellow skyscraper down low.
Deep lead.
subtle but unmistakable shade toward Caitlin Clark. But within minutes, the internet erupted. The video quickly gained millions of views. But so did the backlash. Accusations of racial...
And you got a player that's blatantly advocating for violence against far and away your most popular...
Animosity, targeted harassment, and league favoritism flooded social media. Hashtags like "Them Suspend Angel" and "Foward Protect Clark" began trending nationwide. By sunrise, the league office had already issued a statement confirming an internal investigation. And by noon, the news dropped. Angel Reese has been suspended. But what exactly happened? Was this truly a case of racially charged hate speech? Or has Angel Reese become the latest scapegoat in a sport struggling to navigate race, fame,
Cardoso with the miss. Angel Reese picks it up, what she's good at. Getting another offensive rebound. She says, Kimmy, assistance trying to pay off. Jones gets a piece. Angel Reese won't give up. Jones with another.
and controversy in the age of social media? Stay with us, because what comes next might just change how you see the entire WNBA. To understand the uproar, we need to go back. Not to the day of the TikTok, but to April 6, 2023. The NCAA Women's Championship. LSU versus Iowa. Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. What was supposed to be a celebration of women's basketball became something far more complicated. Caitlin Clark already... dubbed the Steph Curry of the women's game, had just come off a historic 41-point game in the Final Four. Angel Reese, a dominant force all year, had led LSU with swagger, skill, and a chip on her shoulder. But it was one moment, not a basket, that defined the narrative. Reese taunted Clark with John Cena's "you can't see me" gesture and pointed to her ring finger. Critics called it unsportsmanlike. Others hailed it as pure competitive fire.
It's like it's easy for them because you give them attitude,
Yep.
right?
This is it.
You make it easy for the media. You make it easy for them.
How does she give him attitude?
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of it, but most of the stuff that I see, it's that.
So
Go play that again.
You thought that was attitude?
Angel Reese didn't back down. In the post-game presser, she famously said, "All year, I was critiqued for who I was. I don't fit the narrative. I don't fit the box you all want me to be in. I'm too hood. I'm too ghetto. But when other people do it, you don't say anything." It was more than trash talk. It was a statement about race, media bias, and who gets to be celebrated. And ever since that day, Reese and Clark have been on a collision course. Not just on the court, but in the culture war that now surrounds the WNBA. It was more than trash talk. It was a statement about race, media bias, and who gets to be celebrated. And ever since that day, Reese and Clark have been on a collision course. Not just on the court, but in the culture war that now surrounds the WNBA.
He is now as a commissioner of the WNBA, Kathy Engelbart. You walk in here, 17,000 for the first ever game for an expansion team. This is not too bad, Commissioner.
Yeah, Larry, it was kind of emotional.
emotional when I first walked in and saw the entire upper bowl full, and the energy and the vibe. It's really great, and this has been a long time coming.
Fast forward to May 2025. The WNBA season is heating up. Caitlin Clark is now a rookie phenom for the Indiana Fever. Angel Reese, newly drafted to the Chicago Sky, is carving her path, proud, outspoken, and still polarizing. Then, the TikTok drops. Set to a popular audio that says, "They love you until they can't control you anymore." The video shows Reese sinking the line while flashing a montage of subtle clips. A missed layup by Clark, a screenshot of Reese pointing at her ring, a final frame that reads, "Y'all don't want the real." The implication? Clear, at least to many fans. Reese was calling out Clark, the media, and perhaps the league itself for perceived favoritism and hypocrisy.
Marketing around all of our players, but I think Caitlin's lifting everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
our arenas are packed, our viewership, this is a key part of why I was hired, is to look at how to bring in new viewers, new fans, the demographic. We're one of the most diverse demographics in sports, both on the court and now our viewership.
Yeah. It rocks, by the way, when you're in the stadium. We went and loved.
But what really poured gasoline on the fire were the comments underneath. Fans, some with verified accounts, began making racially charged attacks against Clark. "White privilege on full display," one read. "Y'all only love her because she's white." And while Reese didn't post those comments, critics accused her of inciting the hate, of setting the tone.
Moves around until it gets back in the hands of Caitlin when she gives the ball up.
Well, the Fever from the end of the first quarter, Clark again, heating up. Clark. An absolute wall at the rim leads to that. Erica Wheeler with the finish.
In an official release, the WNBA stated, "We are committed to upholding a standard of respect and inclusivity. Content shared by Angel Reese was found to violate our code of conduct and contributed to a hostile online environment targeting another player." The suspension, while not tied to a specific rule violation, was justified under the league's Player Representation Clause. Essentially, the expectation that all players act as ambassadors of
Banham flicks it ahead. Reese goes
the sport, both on and off the court. But not everyone was buying it. Supporters of Reese pointed to past cases, where players like Diana Taurasi or Liz Cambridge made far more provocative statements with far less punishment. And most importantly, Angel Reese never used any explicit language. At the heart of this controversy lies an uncomfortable question. Are black athletes held to a different standard because the numbers don't lie? Caitlin Clark leads the league in jersey sales, endorsement deals, and television viewership. According to Nielsen ratings, Indiana Fever games featuring Clark see a 178% higher audience share than those without her. Yet, players like Angel Reese and AJ Wilson, both black, have publicly commented on the disparity in coverage, compensation, and fan support. But the league's response, silencing Reese, seemed to confirm what she'd feared all along. That boldness is only tolerated when it's convenient, or when it comes from the right face.
Reese said after the game about the play that she can't control the refs, and that, quote, "I guess some people got a special whistle. Ready to go, who else deserves the ball?"
Caught in the center of it all was Caitlin Clark. Known for her competitive fire, but also her restraint, Clark stayed silent. At first. But on May 25th, during a post-game interview after a hard-fought win against the Seattle Storm, a reporter just asked directly, "Do you think Angel Reese crossed the line with her TikTok?" Clark paused, then answered carefully, "I don't think there's any place for hate in our game, from players or fans. But I also know emotions run high, and We're all learning to navigate a spotlight that didn't exist 5 years ago.
Through your perspective on the flagrant foul, what was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know? If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player
As the suspension gained traction, the WNBA found itself thrust into the middle of a national culture war. Team Clark versus just Team Reese. One side claiming Clark is being unfairly targeted for her race. The other side accusing Reese of being punished. For speaking truth to power, Stephen A. Smith weighed in on First Take. You can't suspend a player for a vibe. Either she broke a rule.
Cloud defending. Clark trying to create some airspace. Long three at the horn. Oh! Caitlin Clark rising from the ashes.
Or she didn't. But let's not pretend this would have happened if Caitlin Clark made that video.
And look out, Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese and into Caitlin Clark. Afterwards has something to say as Clark walks.
Behind closed doors, the mood was tense. Multiple sources reported that several players across the league, including members of the Sky and the Aces, were deeply upset at the suspension. One veteran player, who remained anonymous, told Bleacher Report, "If Angel goes down for this, we're all vulnerable. What next? A meme gets you benched." But not all players were supportive. One Fever teammate of Clark, reportedly, expressed frustration at the growing hostility and said, "We're trying to grow the game, not turn it into Real Housewives." The WNBA, already battling for mainstream legitimacy, was now in the crosshairs of a narrative it couldn't control. On one hand, the league had to protect its image, sponsors, and athletes. On the other, it had to be careful not to muzzle the very voices that made it compelling. This wasn't just about a TikTok. It was about who controls the narrative in women's sports. Angel Reese, with her...
He is hugely popular. But again, you do want to balance it because obviously you saw what happened with Juju Watkins, getting hurt. You want to balance, making sure that you're also promoting your other stars like an Asia Wilson, like a Brianna Stewart. Nafisa Collier killed it last year. I mean, she was the runner-up, MVP, and the Defensive Player of the Year.
I loved her. I thought she was awesome.
Yeah, and she's a great person.
She got a couple calls in the finals.
Raw authenticity and no-filter attitude represented a player unafraid to rattle the cage. Caitlin Clark, with her undeniable talent and clean-cut media presence, symbolized a new commercial era. But can the league find space for both?
I got no issue with how Angel Reese reacted. Okay. But it's objectively clear she did overreact. I got an issue with everybody overreacting to Angel Reese's overreaction. I'll tell you that much. Everybody overreacting to Angel's overreaction. I got no issue with how Angel reacted. But she overreacted. We know she overreacted because
As of today, Angel Reese remains suspended, though sources indicate a possible return date in early June, pending league review. She hasn't deleted the video, she hasn't apologized, and she hasn't gone silent. In fact, her latest Instagram story simply read, "I said what I said."
Special honor has bounced Caitlin Clark's way. The WNBA rookie sensation is now the first athlete since Michael Jordan to have a signature basketball with Wilson Sporting Goods. She's also the first female athlete ever to have her own signature ball with the brand.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues to rise, averaging 17.3 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. She's been named Rookie of the Month twice already. But no matter the stats, one truth remains. The WNBA is no longer just about basketball.
Parker, Kelsey Plum, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Dejanay Carrington, and one word on the court, it would be menace. Points matters. Me on the court is fire.
It's about identity, race, fame, freedom of expression, and whether the league can handle the very spotlight it once begged for. So what do you think? Was Angel Reese suspended unfairly? Or did her actions truly cross a line?
Proud of what's happening in WNBA right now with women's basketball. Also, been at that for 28 years now. It's, supporting women's basketball, and it's really turned a corner in the last couple of years. I love this game of basketball, and I think to the extent that we can bring joy to more people's lives through this game, get more young boys and girls playing this game, being part of a team, understanding the values of this game.
Basketball was always supposed to unite us, to rise above race, politics, and power struggles. But maybe that was never realistic. Maybe these growing pains are necessary.
Detail.
The golden doodle. That's golden. She's a gold.
Because with every controversy, every uncomfortable conversation, the WNBA grows stronger, more visible, more human, more real. This is the cost of fame.
Joe Barton, The Athletic. You mentioned the WNBA in your initial comments. I was curious for your reaction to the hard foul Caitlin Clark took last week. And then more broadly, if you have any concerns about her first couple weeks.
The cost of change. The cost of letting women, especially black women, be fully themselves on the world stage. And maybe, just maybe, that's worth fighting for. Like if you learned something new, comment if you think the WNBA handled this fairly. And subscribe for more real basketball stories every single week.